I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 1030. It all starts with recruitment and Make or Break, a manager's role in developing others, both by Martin Fenwick of altris.co.nz. And welcome back to OSD. My name is Dan, and I am your host and narrator with you every single day, reading from these great blogs on entrepreneurship. And typically I read one post, but every now and then we find two that are on the shorter side, and that's what we've got for you today. So let's hear from Martin Fenwick and optimize your life. It all starts with recruitment by Martin Fenwick of altris.co.nz. I had a great chat with a client in the people development function of a large NZ institution the other day. He'd been charged with looking at their approach to performance appraisal. Given some recent changes in style by some big global experts in this field, I asked what he was thinking. One point he raised was the number of organizations that quote the massive investment in training managers that their new system required. Most of that training was about how to run a good appraisal. I made the comment that being good at an appraisal was largely a function of attitude and willingness to run the process constructively. He said, "I've always said everything starts with recruitment. You can't train attitude." So we ended up talking about recruitment being undervalued and almost transactional in many organizations. And that meant the skill of exploring attitude with candidates was largely ignored as a result. At this point, he revealed his second piece of wisdom. He said, "Handing over recruitment to the owning manager sounds good, but it's failing because recruiting is a specific skill." I dwelled on this off and on during the day and found myself thinking that the evidence for his view is all around us. How much is wasted on recruiting people with skills that are lost due to attitudes that could have been surfaced at the vetting stage? How many senior people move on to more senior roles when those around them know they are a bully or a control freak, power crazy, or self-interested? I have also personally delivered leadership training to people who have said they aren't interested and it's all nonsense, as you just need to, quote unquote, tell people what to do. And these people were in roles managing other people. So we often recruit people with bad attitudes at worst, or the wrong attitude for the role at best, and then expect to train them up to compensate. Most of us know that good attitude can compensate for lack of initial capability. Yet time and time again, qualifications and experience rank highest in recruiting exercises because they come first in the advertising of the role. Years in similar roles is particularly interesting, as a colleague of mine who supports organizations to recruit once said, quote, "Very few of us, when asked to give a reference, will be 100% honest, particularly about failings. So you've got to dig, and when you do, the skill is listening for the pauses." End quote. For the last year of Altris, we've been providing many of our clients with our 91-day report as an analysis of potential candidates in the recruitment pipeline. As part of this report, we help the client explore the questions they need to ask to understand if the risks associated with an individual candidate are real blockers. The more clients use this report, the more they find that focusing on the big attitudinal risks is the most revealing. Yet still, many recruit specialists report back to the owning manager saying, "I'm a good judge of character, and I think they'll do fine," only to find that a few months later there's a need for, quote unquote, some coaching support. And let me tell you, it's impossible to right a recruitment wrong by coaching. Looking at the cost of recruitment in many organizations, maybe there is a big prize to be had if those handling recruitment in-house were senior, experienced, skilled in digging for attitude, and most importantly, empowered by the manager to find them the right person. Make or Break, a manager's role in developing others. Also by Martin Fenwick of altris.co.nz. In a recent blog called The Finished Article, I talked about the tendency for many senior people to think that training and development is for others and not for them. Engagement in personal development is an interesting topic for those of us who operate in that space, who are constantly searching for the Holy Grail, a program where 100% of the new concepts are taken up and actively used to 100% of their potential. The 100% of 100% is, for me, the ultimate measure of any full-scale development program or short training module, and one of these days, I might be happy to be measured against it. In the meantime, there are many factors that reduce the possibility of that perfect result. At Altris, we're big on individual preparedness, and we put significant effort into attendees not only being ready, but significantly invested in the program. However, there are some days when I wonder if we're putting our emphasis in the wrong place, as the impact of a manager in the engagement of their direct reports in a development program seems just as significant. Many enthusiastic people seem to have their engagement dampened by their manager. Non-attendance at pre-programmed events because the boss demands they attend a meeting. No encouragement to try new practices. No developmental feedback outside of an annual run-through of the organization's standard appraisal tick sheet. No support for stepping into high-risk projects to learn and test themselves. No developmental role swaps or role sharing within or without the organization. No advocacy on behalf of their direct reports' potential. The list is long, and the message is often clearly, you can do all that development stuff as long as you still deliver the results I need when I need them. And yet there are few of us who haven't had someone help us in our career. Mentors who have steered us on our path, or bosses who took a punt and went out on a limb to give us a chance to succeed. Organizations such as the Corporate Leadership Council have studies that show how engagement of leaders in the development of their direct reports actually increases the success of the leader themselves. Even on Twitter, you'll see tweets advocating that leaders develop leaders, not followers, inadvertently following the work of Noel Tichy, who talks about leaders having teachable points of view. Yet degrees of involvement and engagement in development of direct reports vary significantly across many organizations. Virtually everybody understands the concept of 70-20-10, where 70% of learning is best done through work experiences. But many people seem to go no further than that. In other words, hearing they will learn on the job, ignoring the impact of leader as coach, leader as guide, leader as the font of experience in that workplace learning experience. At Altris, we often measure preparedness of our coachees and program attendees with the aim of correlating their commitment and readiness with their eventual outcomes and success measures. I've been thinking that we need to measure their managers' engagement too, and see where they lie on a sliding scale between, I've sent them on a training course, over to you, and I actively advocate for their promotion to more testing roles, will mentor and coach them through this learning engagement. So I want to know what they will be doing and see their eventual departure from my division as a success. Any of you leaders prepared to be measured on that sliding scale? You just listened to the posts titled, It All Starts with Recruitment, and Make or Break, A Manager's Role in Developing Others, both by Martin Fenwick of altris.co.nz.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
This episode is brought to you by Google. Cyber attacks on critical infrastructure threaten essential services. That's why public institutions like schools, hospitals, and government agencies across the country are partnering with Google to keep their data safe and secure. Because when organizations run on Google Cloud, they're defended by the same AI-powered security that protects all of Google. Explore how Google is keeping more Americans safe online. Visit safety.google/cybersecurity today.
And a big thank you to Martin and the folks at Altris for these posts today. Altris is all about releasing potential within teams and their leaders to deliver sustainable results for organizations. What they specialize in is leadership development and executive coaching. And Martin, who you heard from today, is an executive coach himself and believes that change starts with leaders, and organizational change needs leaders to change. So he challenges those leaders to look at themselves and help them understand how they think so that they can be the most they can be. So thanks again to Martin for his wisdom today, and you can swing by altris.co.nz to learn a lot more. And that's going to wrap up this episode of OSD. I thank you as always for being here with me, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.